Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Herawati and I am from class 4B. And in this video, I would like to tell about how to deal with different types of learners and the principle of teaching English for young learners. Alright, so the first material is about how to dealing in class. Let's check this out. When teaching in the classroom, teacher will find a variety of different characteristics of different students. You'll find students who quickly understand the material or fast learner, students who are passive in the classroom, or students who often make problems in class or troublemakers. Surely it has an influence on the way teachers communicate learning material when teaching. For that, as a prospective teacher, we need to know how to cope with different types of students. And the first one is about how to deal with active and passive learners. Before discussing more about how to deal with active and passive learners, I will explain that being a passive student is not a mistake because we can force active students to remain silent, or we can't force passive students to always be active because they have different characteristics. Therefore, as teacher, it is already our responsibility to provide the material or what students need based on the characteristics. What we can do to deal with active and passive learners are, the first one is provide diverse learning activities. This is important given to the student because the student have their abilities in each field. Some students have more ability in speaking, and meanwhile other students in writing. Therefore, by combining several activities, each student can get the same opportunity to develop better. And the second one is do not focus on active students only. When asking in the classroom and we find that only one student answer, we can ask the other student. We can notice the name of our student. For example, we can call our student like, so Nadia, what about you? What do you think about listening? And next is about compliments or reward. We can give compliments or reward to help students become more motivated in learning. And the last is we can divide into groups. Students are divided into groups of active and passive learners. But don't forget to make sure that each student does their task as good as well. And if we apply this method to young learner, it will be better if the teacher divides the groups. And the next material is about, and alright, this is the example of the picture that I mentioned before, like divide into groups and asking our students. The next material is about how to deal with fast and slow learners. When teaching, we can follow the speed of fast learners because it will result in students, slow learners not following the course. And instead, we can follow the speed of slow learners too because it will make fast learners get bored by learning things they already understand. So, what should the teacher do? The best way a teacher can do is to teach at a medium speed. Those fast learners don't feel down and slow learners don't feel fast too. Some of the things that we can do is, for the first one is enrichment for fast learner. We can provide an enrichment or additional material that is still relevant to the material that are given. And the second one is about remedial teaching for slow learners. We can give remedial teaching or provide additional material with more examples, like this. we can give the material about classroom objective like pencil, blackboard, calendar, pins, scissor, and etc. And the last is about peer tutoring. Peer tutoring or fast learner teach the slow learners. Through this, fast learners can sharpen their understanding, and slow learners can be better understand material with a language that easier to understand. The next is about how to deal with troublemakers. The several things or the several activities that can teacher do are expose rule in the classroom. Before learning, teachers expose rule in the classroom that can make students more disciplined. It is not just about what students shouldn't do, but also what they can do and what can they get. And the second one is about seat arrangement. We do seat arrangement so that students don't get bothered easily. And the last one is about personal approach. We can do a personal approach outside the classroom to find out why students become troublemaker in their classroom. All right, and next one I would like to tell about the principle of teaching English to young learners. All right, let's get started. The principle of teaching English for young learners, there are 4 principles. The first one, they are implicit learning, meaningful learning, contextual learning, and also learning centeredness. For the first one is implicit learning. It means students study the material that are learning unconsciously. It is important to follow the character of a child who is already easily to get bored. For example, in the game of Say Simon, inside that game, students can learn the name of body members and how to learn the instruction. The second one is about contextual learning. And this principle means delivering material by paying attention to the use of its language. For example, if we give material about vineyards, we not only teach about the word they say, but also about how it's used. For example, how to name the characteristic of apple, name of the type of apple, and ask the price of the apple. The third one is about meaningful learning. Meaningful learning means material learning that has connection with everyday life. It's like giving with materials that students often find. You can also ask her about food that the students like, example, and the last material is about learner-centeredness. This principle has the meaning that it teaches English to young people, students will become the center of learning. Students actively participate in learning in the classroom. Alright, that's the material for me. I'm sorry for the mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.